Roll call, roll call vote, please.
Alderman Persick.
Here.
Alderman Kirby Hall.
Here.
Alderman Evans. Alderman Evans. Alderman Kerwin.
Here.
Alderman Larry Hall.
Here.
Alderman Tudor. Here. Alderman Studer. 7 yes, 1 absent, motion passes. I'm sorry.
Oh, there you go, 7 present, there you go.
Oops.
All right, we're starting off really good. Council, you got approval of the minutes for May 5th before you.
Mr. Mayor, I've reviewed the minutes and I'd like to make a motion to have them accepted with a couple small amendments that were already pointed out to Judy.
Okay.
And they are just a couple of things in the very back of, that are just grammar. They don't affect the body of the minutes, so I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes with those amendments and have them placed on file.
Motion by Alderman Studer, do we have a second? Second. Second by Alderman Larry Hall. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Studer.
Yes.
Alderman Larry Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Persick.
Yes.
Alderman Kerwin.
Yes.
Alderman Kirby Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Tudor.
Yes.
Alderman Evans.
Yes.
7 yes, 1 absent, motion passes with amendments.
Thank you. Mayor's report, we got a few things. First thing, before we start with our military museum presentation, is to remind everybody that this Saturday at noon kickoff, starting at the Bloomington Middle School, will be the VFW Memorial Parade. Kind of a different route because of the construction going on, but it'll go up Kankakee Street to Kayla Road, and then Kayla Road down to, what street's that? The street that goes down to the old Veterans Memorial. Yeah, there we go. I couldn't remember the name of it. So that'll kick off at, will that kick off at noon?
They kick off, but lineups.
Lineup's at noon, yeah, lineup's 11, kicks off at noon, and after that, they'll have a presentation, Memorial Day presentation at the Veterans Memorial Park on Saturday. Also, next Wednesday at 3:00 p.m. is the CDC groundbreaking over at Ridgeport, the 27th, that's at 3 p.m. I've asked that anybody, alderman that can attend that to please attend. I know CDC is very excited about coming to the city of Wilmington, so they'll be here as well. So just those two things, and what I'd like to do is bring up Mr. Nice and the doctor in regards to the proposed military museum. This is something that Tony's kind of working on. I reached out to Ron, and basically we kind of showed the old the church that's on the Kangas Curve. And, they were actually here today at the VFW, had a breakfast, and they've been around town. So I'd like to turn it over to you guys and kind of show the council what you have proposed for us. And Tony, your IT guy running the...
Hopefully,
You're doomed.
Yeah, I'm in trouble.
You are.
I think this was all arranged. I'm on the gangplank. But I'm Fred Ralston, and I guess I put this collection together over the years. We're quite different in our focus. We have a focus on the warrior, the battleship, an airplane, a tank never won a battle. It's always the person that takes it in. And we focused on the equipment and the clothing that the warrior has worn successfully. We have a lot of contact within the home front, the industry that has supported the development of the equipment. We have a pretty good path of the evolution in that equipment. We've always looked at just a museum with the protection of the head, body armor, the face, and communications. But in seeing this facility here, 20 acres, that means that we can have tanks and airplanes, and we know that the kids really enjoy that. I got started in this, I'm a World War II vet, and I saw that, and I was young, I was 18, and my crew members were 28, they were the old men. And they made it clear that the people that was involved in aviation before me were the ones that had contributed to the equipment that we were using. And after the war, I had the GI Bill, I utilized it, and my first job was with the DuPont Company, and my job was to work on developing high purity metals because of the jet engine needs. And I successfully did that. And then I worked in ways to support the atomic energy program in the compaction of uranium dust for the control rods in the reactors. I also worked for the General Dynamics Corporation, the Convair division, and my problem was selection, design of materials and of structures and for test. And then I also worked for General Dynamics Astronautics under a NASA contract, and my task was to develop a gun that could accelerate a projectile to the speed of particles in space. So I developed a gun that would shoot a projectile at 20,000 feet a second. And then John Glenn went into space, and I found out about the Atlas 109 was constructed in San Diego, and it took John into space, and it returned, which was totally unexpected at the time. And I formed my own company. It's an engineering company. And in the 80s, I was selected by a president of this country who loved this country and wanted to push the development of equipment for the aviation industry, because we were moving into the jet era. And I was part of the accident investigative team for any time there was a crash, and we focused on all the equipment and that was in the crash. And for some reason, the old man happened to be a colonel, 20 years younger than me, and he said, we're going to keep these things because people are going to question our results, and we need to keep all these things. So over the years, we started to accumulate an awful lot of this equipment. And fortunately for me, they decided to get rid of a lot of this stuff that we'd worked on, and I have. So that's pretty much how it started. We had a 10-man founding board. 8 of the 10 were active military or civilian. One just retired after 31 years as chief engineer at Wright Pat. One of the smartest gals I ever had in class. Works for the U.S. Navy on Marine Corps problems that I was fortunate enough to sort of have experienced. We have the Commander-in-Chief of the U.S. Army Aeromedical Research Lab, and I worked there. That's where we did all the accident investigating, and we did a lot of things that was not considered very nice, that we were misusing our funds. when we worried about fire. In a helicopter crash, you always have a fire. People die by flame. So as a result of our research, we know that a miniature white pig has the same, almost the same skin composition that we do. And we now have a national burn center. The other was that we wanted to prevent fire, and we sort of did things on our contract and shuffled things around so we have a quick disconnect on fuel systems. And we were later recognized as somewhat of pioneers in this. At the end of World War II, the primary function of the medical profession was to take care of the injured. But with the jet age, the demands on the human were great, unknown, and we knew nothing about it. And we developed a lot of that, and the spec on the military helmet that is currently used, I'm the co-author, and Colonel Knapp is responsible for the burn center. We have a guy, one of our board members is a real bad guy. He's retired as a lieutenant colonel. He was a forward air controller. Bad guys to us are the guys that have done things extraordinary in combat. One of my ex-students I worked with, and he met Admiral Rickover and was selected to be in a nuclear sub for 6.5 years as a nuclear sub officer. Another one of my board members was in Noriega's office when he was taken in Panama. One of my board members, one of my ex-students was 2.5 years, 82nd Airborne Presidential Honor Guard. So that's sort of the background of who we are and how we got started. What we are trying to do is to locate it. We want to preserve the artifacts. We have some artifacts that are probably treasures of this country. When Nixon went to China, he wanted to do something spatial. And so I was working with the Carborundum Company to develop fabrics that would not burn. Most everything in the military was nylon. It's not only hot, but when it gets a flame and it melts. And so you can see sitting there in a nylon vest and the heat, and it starts to melt. You see where it's going. So we directed everything for the race drivers at Indy. And somehow Nixon wanted to have, Air Force One to have uniforms made from that. We made them. We have the duplicates. We had enough material to make a set that we kept. Supposedly, by a colleague that I worked with, when John Glenn finished his last simulation ride, he set his helmet down, and we have that. During NAM, we had a very peculiar situation where the government took me for 3 days, gave me the orders, design 3 different design vests. We got 3 days, but the group was to hand carry them back. I successfully did that as the airplane at Wright-Patterson was taking off. The air police was talking to control tower and said, slow down, because they were taxiing. The plane was taxiing. They opened the cargo door. The air police threw the vest in. Having said that, a few weeks later, it went over to a group that was Operation Ranch Hand. They were the defoliant guy. To defoliate, and when you use that type of airplane, you fly low and slow. And the flight surgeon, a good friend of mine, and he had initiated this. We got a Southeast Asia message back that on one of the helicopters that was flying, a gunship flying support for the airplane, had taken multiple hits in the back and in the legs. They wiped blood on the legs, wiped sweat on the back. The sergeant was so happy his life had been saved, he signed it and sent it back. So we have that. We have a lot of things, and we had almost many of the things were on display at Fort Rucker. When they changed command, the new colonel came in and said, we need to get rid of all this old stuff. It's old, we don't need it. So that was returned to me. So we have that focus. If we can acquire this facility out here with 20 acres, we can get vehicles. This morning, I understand that the DFW wants to get an Abrams. They need us. They said they would trade their tank if we could help them get a helicopter. I've worked for DuPont, for 20 Mule Team product, for General Dynamics Convair, was consultant to the Cessna Aircraft Company on both the commercial and military divisions. I did a lot of work on the A-37 attack and on the OP-10 FACS. I worked as a civilian in helping develop equipment for the guys. I developed a way to measure the center of gravity of a helmet, center of mass, because that center of mass has got to fit the center of mass of your head. Because you have two bodies, one the weight of your head's about 7 to 8 pounds. Wherever that center of mass is, the center of mass of that helmet's got to fit. Otherwise, in that vibration environment, after about 3 minutes, you cannot move your neck. You can't move your head. Your neck is so fatigued. I developed the system for measuring the center of mass of a helmet. We have these kinds of things. Our problem, we've invested all of our money in research and in acquiring the artifacts. The mission of our company is to preserve the artifacts, to fill in the voids that we don't have, and to make certain that in the future it can exist. We've spent an awful lot of time in helping kids. That's pretty important to me. When Bush was governor, they had a major problem with Guadalcanal, survivor Marine, asked me to help him, set up a school for 125 throwaway kids. One had already blown a few people up because he was a bomber. A couple of girls tried to kill teachers by putting a sharpened, hardened lead pencil into the carotid. Had 125 like that. Bush gave me $500,000. Said I had to match it. I brought in another 2.5. After 2 years, we had 72% of our kids graduating, walking across the stage, getting their diploma or GED. After that, he gave me $3.5 million. He went to schools, one of those programs set up throughout Texas, but we did. They were successful. Most recently, I've been helping Texas juvenile probation in their education programs. And a lot of the things we do, a lot of people don't like, because we are very successful. A lot of people don't want us to be successful, especially in public education. And our program was in Dallas, and was very, very successful, because when these kids were adjudicated for 90 days, we had many kids that were taking 2 math classes. You know, math is very tough to these kids, because they think it's tough. Put them in a program and let them change their self-esteem. They're not done. So we're trying to, we located, the facility here was called to our attention. It's almost as if it was designed for our use.
You said it's on Route 66 too.
Excuse
You
me.
said it was on Route 66 too.
Yeah.
It's also helped out too.
He's still a church building out there.
Well, yeah, I think you have a copy.
Yeah,
of
we
it.
have, yeah.
Okay,
Had a
that's good.
PowerPoint.
And so, we want to have a permit. That big building is 25,000 square feet. It's roughed in, which is ideal for us, because we can select, you know, this room for this era, this room for this era, and so forth. We also want to recognize the Medal of Honor. One of my board members, I happen to work with him I've worked almost continuously for 20 years with him. He was the commander at the aviation school in Fort Rucker, and he was selected to be the first command surgeon for the rapid deployment force. He also controls an individual. They made a documentary about him. I think 2 years, it was the outstanding international documentary. This guy was a conscientious objector. Wouldn't carry a gun. He met him. All the enlisted that he worked with despised him. They made his life miserable. All the officers hated him. Did everything they could to drive him out or to get him to do something. On Okinawa, they were in a very severe firefight. Desmond Doss saved 75 of the men that belittled him. 75, record. He earned the Medal of Honor. He made a documentary. It won international acclaim. As we sit, and I talked with Colonel Knapp today, who's running the Desmond Doss group. He will see that we have a Desmond Doss display here. We'll only be the third. They have 3 busts, and he's kept one back for us. So as we sit, before I say that, you go to France, just old guys, we go to schools, kindergarten kids come out and sing World War II songs, off we go, they know. You go to Australia, the Australians, they're still so appreciative of what this country did. They saved them from the Japanese. And they know our songs. You go to England, the same thing. You go to the schools here and they don't know Tinker Spot. They don't even know there was a World War II. So the several hundred million that is available, they're making a full-length movie, but it's coming from Australia, Australian money. Mel Gibson is going to be the director, so we know it'll have quality. We will have access to the documentary and to that film also. Colonel Knapp also commanded a kid named Lawrence Joel. who received the MOH, and he still has a good relationship with the family, so we can, and I'm certain there's MOH people here in this area, and we want to recognize them. One of the things we want to do, how many services does this country have? How many services? Air Force, Army, Navy, Marines, what's the other one?
Coast
Coast
Guard.
Guard. What's the sixth one?
Patriot.
Smart Alex. Hey, I set you up. So, we, the Patriots are starting to be recognized. They're the Cold War Patriots. They served the government in Cold War. Most of them worked with our, in the uranium business with the bomb and every one of them has been injured. To get into, to be recognized as a Cold War patriot, you have to have developed cancer. And we want to recognize those. And I've talked to them.
Yeah, I think Tony
Yeah,
got it.
they're good too.
Hey.
Don't have the right one.
Oh.
That's it. It's getting there though. Hold on.
Close.
I gotta go forward.
We want to recognize them. Colorado Springs, I have a friend who had a uncle killed in Korea, and they have a Purple Heart that display that would probably fit here. We want to do things like that. We want to recognize the warriors. We want to have the guys that are coming back now that have problems.
Tony, as we go through this, one of the things that's really key in this area is the Joliet Arsenal. You know, and what the significance that the Joliet Arsenal had in several of the world wars, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam. Would that type of stuff be able to be incorporated in
Amen.
this?
I was hoping to meet with them to see. They have the Abrams tank
Okay.
that they want to give to the VFW. And
Okay.
so we want to help. We want all of the veterans to get involved. We want them as docents in the museum. We want them as mentors because we're going to have a variety of kid clubs. At lunch today, I talked to the local school superintendent. We don't want to compete with them. Everything we do, we want to support them. We want to have a mobile museum. I just finished a program in Texas State, with my friend who's with us. And they have a contract, a federal contract at the university to bring veterans in and assist them in getting degrees so that they can meld back into our society. He and I aren't saying we're going to be able to get a federal contract, but I think if we have the justification to apply for a grant in order so we can help veterans. We help the university around here and so forth. But we just finished a program. We had 45 kids, and when we for the summer, we said we're going to one of the museums, and the kids said they wouldn't go. They didn't want to go to the museum. We'd ask them, what's in the museum? They couldn't tell you. They just didn't want to go. They heard museums were bad. And I drew a line in the sand. You don't show up tomorrow to go to the museum, you don't come in the following day, you're out of the program. And they all showed up reluctantly. When we come out of that museum, when do we go to the next museum? I'm serious. When do we go to the next museum? So we want to take the museum, and we talked to the superintendent today. We want to do it with the colleges. You're talking about Civil War. We'll load our mobile museum up with Civil War, take it. We want to support so the kids can see. Talking about World War II, we'll take it. So we want to take the museum to the campuses, because so many kids don't have the opportunity and have the mindset they don't want to go to a museum. So we want to have a lot of interaction with the community. We want to be part of the community. Our attitude is, we got something. We want to bring it to this community. We want to help this community. Because every place I've gone, I personally have helped the community. The All-America City, we had 3 tenants, three things. One was my special school that Bush funded. I Am America pushed very hard, and we had a 2-year school, and now has 20,000 students. The third one I didn't have anything to do with, but the mayor did, and that was a low-cost housing. We made our presentation, and we were selected as an All-America City. I don't think that program is as active as it used to be, but we, wherever the guys go, which we haven't had an organization, but individually, we've tried to go into the community and help kids. When Reagan was president, one of my tasks, in addition to working at Fort Rucker, was to visit every university in the southeast part of the United States and set up intern and co-op programs for those students to work on government facilities. That program is still going. So we want to do the same thing here. We don't know what your needs are. We don't know what you want to do. But I'm certain you have issues that you want to address.
I think one of the biggest things is, in progressing through this and talking with Tony, was, naturally we've had that church or that building sitting out in outskirts of our town for many years now, probably about 15 years now. With
19.
19? Okay, so
I
was
got
off a
from
few
the
years.
drawings. I've been looking at the drawings.
Right.
Yeah.
But when I was approached with this, I think it fits very nicely in the fact that there's a lot of history around here that deals with a lot of the wars, and what you present here is, to me, from what I've seen, is phenomenal. And if this type of stuff isn't basically put in an area where people can visibly see it, and as you talked about, the Mobile Museum, I think was even better, that history becomes lost. And as you mentioned earlier, a lot of times it's being lost now, and just in the younger generations as they come through school. There's so much focus on other aspects rather than what's history, and what's valuable about this history is to make sure we don't repeat the same thing that happened before. So these type of artifacts, and for our youth to be able to see these type of things and become educated and understand what people went through to get to where we're at today, I think is very vital.
Well, the other thing we have, if you look at your handout, and it's the one that has this space shuttle here. You have
That was my next question.
And this is a 6-pence size full-scale Vita. So it's not half, it's a little bigger than half size. If you look on the following page, you see the interior. So each of you are a kid, and your parents have brought you, and they paid for you to come in and be part of the air crew, space crew. So our idea is to, for the pilot to have certain paraphernalia head, and insignia and so forth, and the co-pilot and so forth. And so the crew, we have it so they can fly it, simulate the takeoff, simulate a 3 or 4 minute flight and a landing. So we're pretty strong in hands-on and simulation.
Wasn't there something like that in Indiana? Something like this?
This is a drill.
What's that?
One of my clients, from the state of Tennessee, we built it for a museum. We toured around the country, and people go through it. It's got 16 workstations in it, and each workstation was a particular launch.
Right.
And it's kind of exciting. People lining around the block just to want to get into things. So it's an attraction by itself.
Yeah.
And,
No, I'm just saying, because my son, back when he was in 7th or 8th grade, had that same opportunity for, I don't know what, it was a space program that they went somewhere. Huh? Was it down to Huntsville?
Space camp?
I can't remember where it
Well,
was.
that's NASA.
Yeah.
Well, I could stand here for the next hour or two and tell you about things. I was involved.
Did you explain to the city council what you said this morning about like as far as the funding and all that, like what sponsors?
Yeah, don't let me forget, that's important. Engineers learn by mistakes. I'm a mechanical engineer. Today, with our technology, if we had not seen a bridge, had not built a bridge, nothing. I don't think we have the brains to design the bridges that we have. Every bridge started, from a telephone or from a tree across something and walked across. I think that we need to have trusses, we need to have things that we can help kids see how to build things. So we want interaction in everything. If we get this building, one of the first places I'm going is to the graveyard in Tucson, Arizona. And I'm going to look for, hopefully, one complete B-17. I know it won't be instrumented. Bring it here as an exhibit. I want to get another one so I can chop it off and have the cockpit front area. And we'll instrument it in ways that you can't fly it, but we'll have instrument. And we will, and I have the software, so if a kid wants to fly a B-24, they can. Want to fly a B-17, so we want to have a lot of simulations.
Brad, I got that power part working.
Got it?
Got it.
Okay.
Need to progress a little bit because we do have the rest of the meeting we have to
Yeah.
take care of, so.
Go ahead.
Your talk, it's your show.
Well, as I said, we're somewhat unique.
Right.
We're unique because we have this space shuttle. And we're also unique because we want to involve kids in the, we don't want to compete with the public schools. We want to provide education to the kids that they normally don't get in public schools. Plus the fact we want to expand the number of young kids that are aware of the heritage by taking the mobile museums around. These are the organizations that my board has participated in. The very top, the old 82nd, the All-America Division, he was the honor guard for 2.5 years. Underneath was the one that was in Noriega. The one right below is the bad guy. That design was made by Disney, and for the forward air controller. And our particular goals, and HCMI is Heritage Collection Museum, Inc. Go ahead. A lot of this is my flight training, and we have some of the helmets over on this side, and the one down on the lower left is probably John Glenn's vehicle, or helmet. This is body armor. The very first one is German body armor. We're a German machine gunner. I have the helmet that they wore. They wore the German helmet. And have you ever wondered why they had those two knobs out here? Those two knobs, they had a big plate of steel that fit here and hooked on those knobs. We have that too. The second one is World War II, 8th Air Force, and that weighed 28 pounds. You don't want to walk very far, but it was worn principally by the gunners in standing position as they fired. And initially, the 8th Air Force would not wear a helmet nor body armor, but with time, they did. That was designed with the help of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Back up. The third one over is the one for Vietnam. The gold material was non-burning. This is combined armor and their support jacket. And so all of their equipment and so forth was incorporated in the pouch. And this is everyone carried one of these because that was their so-called flashlight. This armor here, this quick release device for the parachute has been the cause of many parachutist deaths. This, I competed against them. We did, we selected the alloys, we did all the jump testing, and it was approved, and we were selected as the company to build. But money talks, so over the weekend, the procurement decision was taken from here and here. When the president was shot, there was a big concern that he needed body armor, and so we have a carrier here. That's just our regular garment. Down underneath here, there's an opening. You can slide the armor in. So,
Hey, Tony, Brent, I'm sorry, I don't mean to really cut you off because we provided a lot of history. We do have another rest of the meeting to take
tell
care
me
of.
what you want.
What we're trying to look at is, Tony, where do we stand? Have we talked with the owner of the building and stuff like that? Where do we stand with that?
Yeah,
Aspect of it and everything
they
else?
met with the owner on Monday. They got another meeting tomorrow.
Okay,
Meeting with the contractor, harbor contractor, is getting them a cost estimate. And the engineers are starting to work on some of the costs for the entrance to the area. So hopefully, for the next probably 10 days, they should have some good cost estimate for the build out, for the site, for the building. And then their goal is to try to get this thing in a contract with a purchase price with the owner. And the owner has agreed to look at some financing and work with them. So I think there's a good opportunity over the next 30 to 45 days for them to be able to maybe lock this down in a contract.
What can the council do to help at this point?
I think two things. One is I would like to request that we probably put a resolution of support together for the project when it's appropriate. It might be the next meeting, might be the following meeting. They're planning on coming back in. The second thing is to help market this project by working with, maybe not market, maybe just getting it out into the the vets. Our local VFW commander has agreed to get the regional commanders, the regional director of the area commander to host a meeting for all the locals in the area from the district, and then have them come back and have a presentation to the vets. I think that'll be working together with our VFW to start getting the veterans involved. They've already said they would. The commander already gave Fred a uniform to say here, one that Fred was looking for. That was from Vietnam there. So I think the resolution is going to be the big thing that we'll work with, and we have the ambassadors at this point. Might be open to some type of once the site planning gets going, maybe support for going for some funding through the economic development program. ESI, the engineers think this project would fit, which is a $2 million grant program, like we're doing with U.S. cold storage. I think those are the type of things that they're coming back and talking to us about.
I think, you know, I think it's a perfect fit for that area when this was presented. And just the stuff that, you know, the Fred said on today is just tremendous and almost a little overwhelming. There's so much out there. But at the same time, to be able to implement, you know, some of what is here locally with the Joliet Arsenal and even the stuff that's still out there, and the bunkers out there is huge.
You got the National Cemetery right up the street.
Absolutely.
I think it's very exciting. It's going to be a great tourist attraction. It'll be added to Route 66. The amount of travelers that come through this area is almost extraordinary in the summer. We get travelers from all over the world that travel Route 66, and to have that museum in place there would be a real gem for the city, I think.
And I mean, you know, when Fred talks about people from France and Australia, we get people coming through our town daily from all over Europe, you know, and in Australia that travel Route 66. So for them to have that type of attraction, to me, it'd just be huge, you know, so.
Yeah, the superintendent, Jay Cleese, was at the Rotary where they had a presentation today, and he wants to work with them in regards to, you know, the Mole Museum and things like that, and bring that to the kids in the area too. So, and tomorrow we got a tour. The director of Lincoln Cemetery, Sean Baumgartner, is going to be there at 9 o'clock. We're going to sit down and go over today with Sean. He was excited about the materials. I mean, Sean a couple weeks ago. Wants to meet him. That's great. So.
Keep us posted, let us know what we can do.
Yeah. Ron, Fred,
Thank
you're
you.
a wealth of information. Thank you guys for your time and for your presentation. Thank you. All right. After that, on the next item on the agenda is our citizens' comments. Do we have any citizens' comments tonight?
Go on.
Yeah. Planning and Zoning Commission, their next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, June 4th at 6 o'clock p.m. Committee reports, building grounds, health and safety, Alderman Persick.
Mayor, next scheduled meeting is Wednesday, June 10th at 6:30 p.m.
Water, sewer, streets, and alleys, Alderman Studer, Alderman Kerwin.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the invoice from S.A. Icer Construction Incorporated for the valve repair and hydrant replacement project in the amount of $10,321.21.
Motion by Alderman Kerwin, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Studer, any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Kerwin.
Yes.
Alderman Studer.
Yes.
Alderman Persick.
Yes.
Alderman Larry Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Kirby Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Tudor. Alderman Evans.
Yes.
7 yes, 1 absent, motion passes.
The next scheduled meeting is Wednesday, June 10th at 5:30 p.m.
Please, Anesta, Alderman Studer, Alderman Studer.
Mr. Mayor, next scheduled meeting is Tuesday, June 9th, 2015 at 5:30 p.m.
Finance Administration and Land Act, Alderman Tudor, Alderman Studer.
The first four, Mr. Mayor. I move to approve May 19th, 2015 accounts payable report in the amount of $715,024.88 and the April 30th, 2015 collector's report in the amount of $697,592.32.
Motion by Alderman Studer, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Tudor, any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Studer.
Yes.
Alderman Tudor.
Yes.
Alderman Evans.
Yes.
Alderman Kirby Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Larry Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Kerwin.
Yes.
Alderman Persick.
Yes.
7 yes, 1 absent, motion passes.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the amendment to the Kessling Engineering Incorporated Professional Services Agreement.
A motion by Alderman Studer, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Persick, any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Studer.
Yes.
Alderman Persick.
Yes.
Alderman Kerwin.
Yes.
Alderman Larry Hall.
No.
Alderman Kirby Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Tudor.
Yes.
Alderman Evans.
Yes.
You have 6 yes, 1 no, 1 absent, motion passes.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the quote from Xylem Water Solutions USA Incorporated for a 30 horsepower, 3171 submersible pump in the amount of $18,745.60, along with the quote from Clennon Electric for the installation in the amount not to exceed $4,998.
A motion by Alderman Studer, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Kerwin, any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Studer.
Yes.
Alderman Kerwin.
Yes.
Alderman Persick.
Yes.
Alderman Larry Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Kirby Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Tudor.
Yes.
Alderman Evans.
Yes.
7 yes, 1 absent, motion passes.
Mr. Mayor, I want to step back one
First reading.
line and give you the first reading for ordinance amending Article 2, Chapter 32 of the Building Inspector.
Okay. I move to approve the bid submitted by Lansing Blacktop in the amount of $6,500 for the pavement improvements, along with the bid submitted by Chuck Seal Coating and Blacktop in the amount of $989 for seal coating and striping at the new police facility.
A motion by Alderman Tudor, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Alderman Persick, any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Tudor.
Yes.
Alderman Persick.
Yes.
Alderman Kerwin.
Yes.
Alderman Larry Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Kirby Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Evans.
Yes.
Alderman Studer.
Yes.
7 yes, 1 absent, motion passes.
Thank you.
I gotta find this one, but this one was left on me. I move to approve, I'm going back to the finance. I move to approve the proposal from Alliance Fence Corp. for option number 3 in the amount of $9,400, fencing at the new police facility.
A motion by Alderman Tudor, do we have a second? Second. Second by Alderman Larry Hall. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Tudor.
Yes.
Alderman Larry Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Studer.
Yes.
Alderman Evans.
Yes.
Alderman Kirby Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Kerwin.
Yes.
Alderman Persick.
Yes.
7 yes, 1 absent, motion passes.
And then we're moving,
Strike that number.
we're striking the next one, number 7, and moving it to June's Police and ESDA Committee. Next scheduled meeting is Tuesday, June 16th at 6 p.m.
Ordinance license, Alderman Kirby Hall, Alderman Evans.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, first reading of ordinance adding provisions to chapter 96 of the Wilmington Code of Ordinances. We also be our first reading of ordinance adding provisions for dumpster enclosures. The next scheduled meeting is Tuesday, June 9, 2015, 6:00 p.m.
Personal collective bargaining, Alderman Larry Hall, Alderman Persick.
Nothing at this time, Mr. Mayor.
No engineer's report, Colby's not here. City administrator's report, Mr. Graff.
Yeah, just one reminder, we put on your mayor's report, you got a meeting with the school board president about a joint meeting coming up.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Gotta put that on there. May 27th at 7 p.m.
May 20th, there you go.
Next Wednesday at the school district office, a joint meeting with the city.
I did get the groundbreaking.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, you did. They invited the city council and the library for a joint meeting to talk about future planning of their property. Is one way of looking at it, and some joint efforts.
There's a lot of outside joint efforts that look to be very instrumental. Tony and myself will try to get hold of everybody, kind of fill everybody in between now and then, so everybody's got a general idea. I'll probably rely more on Tony, I'm kind of in a shutdown right now, but Tony, if you reach out to the Alderman.
Yeah.
What's the date of that again?
May 27th.
27th, 7 p.m.
At the high school?
It will be a special meeting,
Yes,
so
at the high school.
7 o'clock, you said?
7 o'clock.
It'll be a special meeting, so we'll basically have to open our meeting, our special meeting and do a quick roll call. So-
Correct.
So kind of expect that.
The first time, I think all three boards are.
Where are we gonna meet at?
The high school.
At the high, it'll be probably the cafeteria in the high school, so we're looking at right now.
What do you want to call it? Also, Tony, just, I mean, people who want to find access to it would be best to the back of the building or to the front, so you might want to find that out from.
Yes, good point. You can put on the note.
Yeah, so,
Business casual?
I would be business,
Business.
I'd be business because there's an opportunity that there's going to be a filming being conducted by some students.
You had open.
That's a good point to bring up because we reached out to,
damn it, I was gonna wear mine. Copycat.
I do know why we would do the opportunity. If you all get your sizes to Joey for polos,
Oh, that would be cool.
we'd like to get some polos ordered.
Hallelujah.
That would be
That way you
great.
could wear them to events like this or
Right.
groundbreaking, name on it,
Okay.
everything else like
Took
that.
4 years.
So yeah, if you get your sizes to Joey, we'll get
Send
them
an email to Joey, okay.
Yeah, email to Joey, give your
We'll
sizes.
have Joey put out an email there.
Yeah, so we had about that last week.
Relax, fit.
Okay.
Relax. Okay, done,
That's it?
for now, yes.
Okay. Attorney's report, Mr. Irvin.
Thank you. The last couple of weeks I worked on drafting a few of the ordinances that are on the agenda for first reading. On the county board agenda for this Thursday is the city's purchase of the two of the parcels at Celotex and through the efforts of the city should be getting about $1,800 back from the original money that we sent in, so there was some savings we turned back to the city on that, so that's on board agenda. 2 days from today.
That's it?
That's my report.
Awesome. One quick thing before I forget, I just got a note yesterday from Senator Redden's office. They will be putting Wilmington exit signs on I-55 here in the distant future. The permit has been approved. We even enlisted the help of the chamber, got letters going, sent them down, actually had them hand delivered down to Senator Residence and Representative Anthony's office, and so that'll be coming.
It still
Work
says
fast.
that on the.
Well, thanks to Isaac.
Yeah.
Isaac Ward, and delivered it.
The intern. Anyway,
It comes up on the GPS when it's an
He
exit.
works cheap, don't he?
I use whatever it may
Thank you.
be. He thinks he's doing something special. I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Aye.
Is there a second? Favor? Aye.
New grandmother,
Kirby Hall seconded.
That's
new
not,
grandma.
Oh, yes, the new